Good evening. The time is 7 p.m. We are going to call to order the Narragansett Town Council regular meeting. Today is Monday, August 19th, 2024. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, moving on to administrative matters. Do I have a motion to appoint Jennifer Beck as Council Clerk Pro Tem?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion by Councilor Lawler, seconded by Councilor Kopech. Motion passes 4-0. Next, for approval of minutes, do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the July 26th, 2024 special meeting?
So moved.
Steve, can you?
Yes, Steve.
Steve, second
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
it. Aye.
Aye.
And
All opposed?
abstain.
Okay. Motion by Councilor Lawler, second by Councilor Ferrandi. Motion passes 3 with 1 abstention. Next, we have a motion to approve the minutes from the July 26th, 2024 executive session meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Abstain.
Okay. Motion by Councilor Lawler, second by Councilor Ferrandi. Motion passes 3-0 with 1 abstention. Next, we have a motion to approve the minutes from the August 5th, 2024 regular meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed. Motion by Councilor Lawler, second by Councilor Kopech. Motion passes 4-0. Next up, we have announcements and presentations. We have our town manager's update. Mr. Tierney.
Good evening, members of the council, folks who are here this evening, and those who are watching from home. There's a few items to update as the town beach and all lifeguards from all over the state competed. Narragansett's team was the overall team winner. It was the Narragansett Town Beach crew for the 36th consecutive year in a row. That is quite an accomplishment for these folks, and we thank them for what they do. There's been some discussion about the Congressional Directed Spending Grant, also known as the Congressional Earmark Grants, as it relates to the potential dredging project. I still have not received any written confirmation, but I spoke with Senator Reed's office, and they advised us that the town's application was not selected for funding for the potential dredging project or the elevator that we submitted, an ADA elevator for Town Hall. We will be promoting Ryan DePanny to Environmental Planning Specialist. This is a union position in 1033. It was one of the subsequent vacancies that resulted when Jill Sabo was promoted to the role of Director of Community Development. Ryan's a great fit for the position, and we wish him well, and his promotion will take effect next week. Next month, I start my 6th year in this position, and I want to take this opportunity to publicly thank the 4 of you for supporting me in this role for 2 more years. I truly am blessed to work with just a fantastic team of people that work here, and I appreciate it very much, these people that I work with every day here. And what they do for everyone in town is fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Okay, moving on to open forum public comment portion of the meeting. Please note that the comments of citizens addressing the council are neither adopted nor endorsed by the body, but heard as requested. Please note that public comment will not be taken on matters involving open litigation. And the rules are, please sign in to speak. There's a sign-in sheet at the back of the chambers. Please state your name and address and speak only on topics not on the meeting agenda. And there is a 3-minute time limit per speaker, subject matter. And please be orderly and respectful. Mr. Tierney.
The first name on the list is Miss Charlene Paskowski.
Oh, I thought there'd be a full house here. I'm disappointed.
My name is Charlene Riley Paskowski, 16 Cove Road, Narragansett. I've been a Narragansett resident since August 26, 1983, 41 years. Narragansett was a vibrant, family-oriented community that worked together and stuck together. It was wonderful. Great school system, wonderful people who were, for the most part, respectful and neighborly. Like all things in life, changes came about, but not always for the good. But things were working. Obviously, in time, more drastic changes came about, and needless to say, we lost that sense of community slowly at first, but in the past 20 years ago or so, like a freight train. Investors began buying properties, oftentimes raising houses and replacing them with bigger ones. They began profitable businesses, renting their investments to college students during the academic year, then summer rentals, people coming and going and putting a drain on our infrastructure. Our sense of community began to dwindle. More investors came and bought out the average families. I was a Narragansett teacher for 25 years and began to see the effects. Parents and their children had the sense of entitlement. Town councils and school committees had their work cut out for them by trying to keep up with the drastic changes to the infrastructure. Landlords profited, and rentals were and are taxing the infrastructure. Old-timers and long-time residents wanted our town to go back to its original community. Arguments began. Our sense of community was falling apart. Drastic changes needed to be made, and town councils tried hard to meet the demands. I'm happy that town councils responded, yet things in town continued to get worse. More needs to be done for sure. Some of the new candidates running have next to no experience. Several say there's this movement from Moms for Liberty. They want to keep investing in our schools. Well, with the student enrollment continuing to dwindle, we'll be lucky to even populate our schools, let alone worrying about banning books. There are only enough students to warrant just 2 kindergarten classes this September. I haven't heard one candidate running for school committee that even broaches the subject of student enrollment. I applaud Ewa, Jill, and Steve for creating an ordinance to address short-term rentals, limit student rentals, and now the landlords are pushing back, big time. They now own the town and are calling the shots. Come one, come all, open our beaches to our brothers and sisters in neighboring communities. Let them park for free, be welcoming, open our hearts and our doors to tourists. Really? Who's gonna pay for it all? These little microcosms on Narragansett Facebook pages, banning people for sharing their views when they go against the administrators of these pages, stirring up crap. As I said, I was a teacher here for over 25 years, and the bullying on these microcosms is far worse than what I saw with my students having to deal with. It's deplorable. As I said, residents think long and hard about who you're going to put your trust in for the next town council and school committee. Kudos to Ewa, Jill, and Steve. Keep on doing the work you're doing. I applaud you.
Thank you.
And I hope everybody thinks twice, long and hard, about who they're going to vote for this November and September.
Thank you. Next.
Thanks.
Dr. Al Alba, 24 Eagles Nest Terrace. I hope I can get 1 extra minute to talk because she's used 4 minutes instead of 3.
It was 30 seconds
President?
extra. 30 seconds. I'll give you.
So thank you. Okay. First of all, we had a wonderful time with the candidates. All of you were invited, right? But you didn't show up. So, you know, why you did not show up? You all had a chance to voice and speak out in regards to what you've done, how good you have done for the town, to let people hear from you. I would like to thank the 5 candidates, Alex Menzies, Catherine Canavan, Jason Colonies, James Durkin, and Winter Hames for attending and voicing what they feel is right for the town. So this is what we need. We need transparency. We need communication. We need to have correspondence, compromise. Because unfortunately, without that, we get litigation, litigation, litigation. And so now we had from 4 individuals for long-term rentals, now we got 5. If we probably were happy with 4, we probably won't have 5 now. Okay? So, you know, people say, you know, I love Narragansett, I believe in inclusion. To say that we're going to be able to, you know, bring the number of students back into our school system, you know, like it was in the past, where is that? Go to Warwick, go to any cities throughout the state. The families are shrinking in size. To put that, to make a statement and saying this is due to the number of rentals is a false reasoning. To say that we're going to have more families come in here by limiting the rentals is false reasoning when you look at the price of the values of properties, not only in Narragansett, but throughout the entire state. Could be East Greenwich, could be Bristol, Newport. I want to let you all know that the town forum for the candidates allowed people to voice their opinions, and there was camaraderie. There was also common themes, such as having a modern state-of-the-art playground with the splash pad. All those in the attendance worked collectively. They listened to their constituents. They listened to our concerns. Affordable housing was another common theme, and we do have to thank Councilwoman Susan Bonanno for bringing forth the bond, the $3 million bond. In regards to the dredging situation that our town manager said, we should be calling up our representative. We should be calling up our senators and saying, Senator Reid, what's going on here? Why aren't we getting this money? Why does it seem like we're always getting the shaft in Narragansett? Look at Galilee. How come you're not speaking out about that? I mean, it just makes me shake my head in disbelief. I also hope that you cancel the meeting for the time-limited signage. I sent you all a detailed letter on why the meeting should be canceled, because we should wait until the election to see if any of you get reelected. Otherwise, why have the signs go up for 5, 6, 7, 8 days? Thank you very much. And when we have the next meeting, I hope you can all join us to express what you've done for the town. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Tierney, is there anyone else that's signed up? Anyone from the public wishing to speak that has not signed up? Ms. Ciliberto.
Catherine Ciliberto, 48 Earls Court. Part 3, who's paying the 4% budget increase? I think we've established it's not the commercial property owners, it's not the rental owners, it is pretty much the residential payers, and it seems like some kind of algorithm was used by this company, who I think more or less phoned it in, and neighborhoods were hit. You can tell which neighborhoods. The Pier, Bonnet Shores, believe it or not, they were hit. Big increases, and most of them, honestly, there's really no rhyme or reason to a lot of them, but the bottom line is this, that when you have increases, they're supposed to be fairly spread across the population. One group doesn't take a hit, and the rest, slide, and that's not what happened here. There wasn't any attempt at all to try to, balance these increases among different residents, different neighborhoods. And now I have to say this because somebody said something to me. This is not about me. Well, my husband, that's for damn sure. We paid our taxes the day we received the bill, we paid the bill in full. This is about people in this town who answered a survey a few years ago that said they were housing cost stressed. 39% of the people in this town said that. And since then, we've had massive increases in food and utilities and everything else. And I don't think there was any thought at all, about those people. The bills just went out and the heck with it, and that was it. Do you know there are people in this town that have reverse mortgages on their houses so they can stay in their houses? Can any one of you name one? I bet you can't. I can. This is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to, when you're a politician, you're supposed to go out there and you're supposed to talk to people and find out what their needs are. And I don't feel that's been done here. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak before I move on to the agenda? Okay, seeing no hands up, we're going to move to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion by Counselor Lawler, second by Counselor Kopech. Motion passes 4-0. Next up, we have old business. We have a motion to read, pass, and accept as a first reading an ordinance and amendment of Chapter 46, miscellaneous offenses, Article 2, unruly gatherings.
So moved.
Second?
Okay. Or did you want to discuss this, or?
This is just really, it came back to us after Mark took some time. I know that Deb wanted to add some comments to Mark's crafting of the ordinance, and that has been finalized, and it's back to us.
Any discussion from the council?
Just, were there revisions?
There were.
Kind of couldn't tell. And they were. Okay, so that's good. All right. Yeah.
Okay, any other questions from the council? Anyone from the public wishing to speak on this first reading? Okay, seeing no hands up, do I have a motion to read, pass, and accept? I mean, all in favor, sorry about that. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion by Counselor Lawler, second by Counselor Kopech, motion passes 4-0. Moving on to new business, I am going to be pulling Town Council Agenda Item 0.2 at the request of the sponsors. So that will be being pulled. Any other items to be pulled?
Can I just make one point that it will be coming back after the, after the work session?
Okay, sounds good.
Yes, I request that G1 under Fire Department be pulled.
Okay, so G1 is pulled. Okay, so moving on to
F1.
F1, which is from the police department, a motion to approve the purchase and installation services of 2 MDT tablets for 2 new police vehicles from Island Tech Services, LLC, in the amount of $12,710.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion from the council? Anyone from the public? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion by Counselor Lawler, seconded by Counselor Kopech. Motion passes 4-0. Next, from the police department, we have a motion to approve the annual contract for technical support for the police department's computer software system with TriTech Software Systems, Central Square, in the amount of $20,996.56.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion from the council? Anyone from the public? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion by Counselor Lawler, second by Counselor Kopech. Motion passes 4-0. Next agenda item from the police department is a motion to accept a Stanton Foundation grant, which will award the Narragansett Police Department up to $32,000 for the K-9 program. This grant will enable the police department to establish a second K-9 unit with a separate skill set from our current K-9. The grant is intended to cover the costs associated with such a program. No matching funds are required.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion from the council?
I was just wondering if we could get a little bit more detail about this one for the public.
Sure. Mr. Tierney. Oh. Okay. Thanks, Chief.
It sounds really cool, but.
Sure. So you may recall in the past, we received a standing grant back in 2019 for $25,000. That paid for the K-9 that we presently have. Napoleon, who is trained in explosive as well as patrol work. This grant for $32,000 will pay for another K-9 unit that will be trained for narcotics as well as patrol work and tracking.
And it covers like all kinds of other things, right?
Yes, it covers the cost of the dog, it covers the training, it covers all the vet bills, basically it covers the entire program for about 3 years.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks. I love Napoleon. He's a great dog.
I want to meet this dog.
Anyone from the public? Ms. Ciliberto?
Catherine Celebrero, 48 Rose Court. Let me get this straight. We have one K-9 unit now, and we're going to have two in the future. How many does Providence have? What about South Kingston? Do we really need two K-9 units? I don't mind because we're not going to pay for it, but what happens down the line? If we don't keep getting grants, we have to pick up the cost. And I question the need in this little town for two K-9 units. Thanks.
I think the chief said there were different ones, narcotics, one's explosives, specialized dogs. Dr. Alba.
Yes, Dr. Al Alba. First of all, whoever your grant writer is, I think the town council, maybe for the dredging unit, we can apply. But on that note, getting back, I just hope that Senator Alana DeMario and also Representative Carol Hagan-McEntee could possibly appeal to the breed. I know
Okay, this is a motion. I
understand.
need to
Okay,
redirect you,
okay.
Dr. Alba. This is a motion to accept. I'm allowing
Well, I
public
accept-
comments. Okay.
I
Yeah,
support it.
yeah.
And
This
whoever
doesn't
your grant
really.
writer is, congratulations, by the way. Doing good work.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for, all right. So a motion to accept. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion by Counselor Lawler, second by Counselor Kopek. Motion passes 4-0. Next up from the Parks and Recreation Department, we have a motion to rescind the bid award for toter trash bags for the Parks and Recreation and Public Works Department from Interboro Packaging Corporation due to noncompliance of bid specifications and award to the second lowest bidder, Fortean Packaging Limited, at the cost of $14.92 per case of 64-gallon clear bags and $20.69 per case of 64-gallon black bags for a 1-year period.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion from the council? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion by Counselor Lawler, second by Counselor Kopek. Motion passes 4-0. Next, we have, from the Parks and Recs Department, we have a motion to approve a request from the University of Rhode Island Panhellenic Council to host Seize the Day with Greek Life at Narragansett Town Beach on Tuesday, September 3rd, 2024, subject to state and local regulations.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, so this one has some questions. Yeah, I'll have our Parks and Recs Director go over this.
Thank you, Madam. Good evening. It's my pleasure to introduce Trinity O'Neill. She is sponsoring this event. It's her turn, so to speak, to put it all together. So, Trinity, I'll leave it up to you to answer any questions.
I'm the Vice President of Recruitment on the Panhellenic Council, and we are planning our Seize the Day recruitment event, and I'm here to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, any questions from the council members? I believe.
Yeah,
Councilor
sure, I'll
Lawler.
start out. Why didn't you bring this to the state beach?
So we wanted to do the town beach because it's a great opportunity for college students coming into the area to connect with the town. It's a sense of relaxation as well as getting to know Greek life. And everyone loves Narragansett Town Beach, so that's why we choose that beach.
Because the other beaches are in Narragansett as well, right?
Well, yes, but the town beach is everyone's favorite beach, so.
Okay. I noticed that you did a lot of great work with what you have with the armbands and making sure when they get onto the bus, a lot of great preparation work. But a couple things that kind of hit me is as far as a lifeguard, there's no information about a lifeguard. And there's also, at this point in time, according to what we had, you might have more updated information. The number is anywhere between 800 and 1,000 students that are coming in. We're 2 weeks away. I know the police chief who just left would sure like to know that number because he's going to have to actually adequately staff. But the other concern I have is the day after Labor Day. And traditionally, the day after Labor Day, that's the day that the beach becomes free. And we have a lot of folks that come down from all parts of the state to enjoy a day at the beach. So I guess I would probably like to know either from Jim or from Michelle, what is the plan? Because we're going to have 1,000 URI students there, and then we have the rest of the state coming down to enjoy a nice day at the beach. Let us not forget our town residents who also might. How is this all going to play out?
So we have private buses transporting students from the university to the South Pavilion, leaving every 10 minutes. And so we are conscientiously making sure that all the buses are filled and that they're leaving at different times to crowd control the area, also leaving the beach as well at different times. So that will control the ebb and flow onto the beach and make sure that there is not a large crowd, which...
So you're not going to have 800 to 1,000 at the same time there?
No. Well, they'll be coming and going at different times. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so the amount of police then, you had written between 800 and 1,000, you're looking for 2 to 4? Is the university paying for that for our officers? It's not in the information provided.
Yes. Well, the Narragansett Police Detail and lifeguards will be provided. That's the information that I have. I'm just a student planner. And
I know, which is why I had asked for the deans to come, and unfortunately they couldn't be here for some reason.
yes, they could not be here today she informed me this morning, so they were not able to come. But I'm here as a representative on behalf of this organization today.
No. Go ahead, Deb.
So just to clarify, you don't really know, so if you have them every 10 minutes, we don't really know how many people will be on the beach at the same time. I don't imagine that everybody would stay from 9 o'clock in the morning till 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which is the time frame for your event, right? But
Yes.
you don't really know what's going to happen there, right?
So students will be coming from 11 to 2 p.m.
Oh, okay.
It's not going to be throughout
Oh,
the
I
day.
see.
Yeah.
Okay, that's different than what we thought.
Yeah. And also, I would just like to note that this event has been planned without issue for the past 5 years.
Okay.
So-
And are there, who is monitoring this on the beach?
So the Narragansett Police will be there as well as URI, Greek Life, and Student Affairs administrators and student leaders will be on hand throughout the event.
Okay, do you know how many administrators?
Administrators, there should be around, all the ones at URI Greek Life, I don't have an exact number, but I know on the student leaders, there's going to be around 35 of us.
Okay. I think that's all I have.
I'll go to Councilor Ferrandy if he has any questions.
Thank you. Do you know how many attended the last several years? So yes.
The last several years, it's depending on the volume of students that sign up for recruitment. So it is around 800 to 1,000 students that are in attendance.
So it's that many, okay. And what about, I'm sure it's being advertised up at URI or wherever, everywhere, and for the students. So what about the people that come in, that hear it and drive down there, Did you figure on additional people with that possibility?
So they are not involved with our event. The ones that are driving on themselves, only the students that are bused to the event from the school are involved with our event. We have a roped off area with pop-up tents. We have wristbands for the students coming in with the chapters. And then the freshmen or people who are interested in joining Greek Life, they have a different color wristband. And then also we have the police detail kicking anyone out in the area that is around the area that is not involved with our event, that we do not.
So you're actually going to ask for a roped-off area of the beach just for your group?
That
And the
is-
size, so what?
That is what the dean told me and what we've done in the past.
Yeah, I just feel, a little uncomfortable without, we really need someone from URI here to explain this and be responsible. I'm not saying you're not responsible. I understand you're with the organization and all, but, if this is all sanctioned by URI, then we should have someone from URI here and, going with our questions with us. Besides, maybe you're in a sorority. So I just, and I don't think that's really enough police, 2 to 4, I'd say at least 6 police officers. you just never know, you know, it could be a 90-degree day and everything else, and I realize it's about camaraderie and the rest of it, but, you know, I just don't want it to, something to turn awful and quickly and not have enough people there, and I like reassurances from URI before I can even think about voting on this.
So
I'm sorry, I'm just going to interrupt for a second. So the time's 7:30, we just got to go to the public hearing, it'll take like a couple minutes, and then you can just stay up there, and then we'll get back to you in 1 second, but we just have to do some scheduling first. So the public hearing decision portion of the meeting, D1 is being pulled today, and then we're going to go on to D2, which is a motion to schedule a public hearing on September 16th, 2024, on an ordinance and amendment of Appendix A of the Code of Ordinances of the Town of Narragansett, Rhode Island, entitled Zoning, specifically text revisions of Section 2.2, definitions, amending the definition of bed and breakfast guest house, and Section 6.1, use regulations, and refer the matter to the Planning Board for review and recommendation.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed. Motion by Councilor Lawler, second by Councilor Kopek. Motion passes 4-0. So we're all set with the scheduling. So back to you, Trinity. Okay, so what was the last question? I think Councilor Ferrandi was, I think he was done with his question, or did you have? Okay.
For now, yes.
Okay.
I have a few more. Michelle, will the facilities be open for restrooms?
Yes, they will be, and the porta-johns that are in place presently will also be there.
Okay. So at this time, I'm sorry, I forgot your first name.
Trinity.
Trinity, pretty name. The amount of lifeguards and police have not been determined. Do you have lifeguards? We're only 2 weeks away.
So the amount has not been determined as of right now, but that is something that they are discussing as well. I just wanted to emphasize the fact that students will be coming and going as well, and that everyone participating in this event will be together. It is also a substance-free event, and any disruptive behavior will be addressed by staff and police, and students will be held accountable through the university conduct system as well. So we take this very seriously. It's just not, and this is also a recruitment event, so it's an opportunity for new students to learn more about the different chapters, and I don't want it to be advertised as a party on the beach in any way, which is not what this is whatsoever. This is a very serious event that takes place the past few years and is crucial to the recruitment process as well, which is what I am in charge of.
If I may, there's just one thing I'd like to add to Councilman Ferrandi, is the group will be positioned behind the South Pavilion. So I'm not sure they actually rope off the area, more along the lines of they have each group, each organization, each fraternity, sorority, that kind of makes a large square in the sand, and all of the participants of this event are only allowed in that particular section. And again, I also want to stress, and I know Trinity tried to say this, 500, 1,000 students are not coming all at the same time. There's going to be a window from 11 o'clock till 2 o'clock. There may be 100 or 200 at one time. Then 100 are going to leave. Another 100 may come back. But there's never going to be 800 to 1,000 students on the beach at this one time. And I would certainly be willing to assist in any lifeguard needs if the university reaches out to me, and also coordinating with Chief Corrigan on the proper need for the number of detailed officers that he may seem fit to need for that day.
Thank you. And this event, because we spoke before the meeting, just because we were, there were some clarifying points that we were curious about, has happened in the past. Just hasn't come through Parks and Rec. So that's really the really differentiating piece here, because now it's officially coming through Parks and Rec, so it's kind of coming to the council, where in the past, from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, please, is that the event would happen and just, right, is that correct? Or except 2019, 2020, I saw 20, so when I was reviewing the packet, it did say 2019, 2021, There was a mention of a 2017 year in there, and there was also, when you spoke, you stated that this event has been going on for the past 5 years, but I didn't recall it coming before us, and this is my second term on the council.
And you're absolutely right about that, President Jasinski. When this initially started, it wasn't the size that it is today. There were maybe 50 to 100 students that came on the beach, and I remember particularly working on the day several years ago when the students showed up, and they had their displays and their wares, and they were promoting their different fraternities and sororities. So after that particular year, we handled the event with a facility use form, insurance from the school, and we also had staff present, and we also notified the local police department that the event was happening, if somebody could just swing by. But again, as Trinity said, we have not had any issues, but because it has grown to the level of students, possibly, I felt the need to bring it before the council.
Thank you. Any last questions before we go to the public?
I just want to add that I agree with Steve's concern that potentially there could be university students not associated with the freshman event happening, hearing about it and saying, that sounds like a good time, I want to go down there. So we could have a large crowd that are not invited, that are part of the university, want to come down there and hang out. So I share your concern, Steve.
They will not be a part of our event, though.
They would be part of the event next to it. They would merge in
Just
somehow.
Our event, though, they will not be a part of, and they will not get a wristband as well, so.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions for the council?
I wanted to verify that, I think Michelle said that, you're going to make a determination as to the number of lifeguards necessary and the number of police necessary, and those costs are going to be absorbed by the university, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
The university is.
All right. And Michelle, I don't know if you've observed this or not, but in the past 5 years, I don't know how far back we can go, but in the past 5 years, have we had situations where the idea that Jill's talking about has happened, where just a lot more students come and use the beach? Of course,
So of course, that is the possibility, because again, the beach is free as of that day. So a number of scenarios could happen where there could be a large gathering of students. I believe the university goes back to school on the Wednesday. So again, it is the day before the start of school. So again, I would be most assured that there are going to be a lot of other people, other students, enjoying the beach on that day if it is a good weather day.
But we don't normally have lifeguards, right?
No, we don't.
After Labor Day,
No.
right? Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, all right. I believe Councilor Randy had another question, and then we'll
Just-
go to the public.
Just one question. So in other words, this has been happening for at least 4 or 5 years, and it never had to come to the council, because I don't remember it at all either.
That's correct.
So this one seems like a little more formal. It's set up, so, when you're saying 8 to 1,000, we have to brace for 1,000. I mean, if that's what it says. I mean, we just don't know if they're going to all be there or not at the same time. But this is really formalizing an event that's kind of morphed into this. And it's a little disingenuous at this point, for the council to, fraternity council to be, kind of doing it at an odd hack. I understand maybe they're trying to legitimize it a little bit, but still, I mean, I just really don't like the whole idea without having someone from URI to kind of sanction all this. Who's going to pay for all the expenses? Who's going to get billed, and it doesn't cost the town any money? And should there be a rental fee for the whole beach? To take that much amount of the beach is something to be considered. Thank you.
Okay, all right, so I will go to the public. So I'm just going to have you take a seat, Trinity, with Ms. Kershaw. And I'm going to let the public speak. Thank you for doing a good job presenting it. Ms. Ciliberto.
Catherine Ciliberto, 48 Earls Court. Now, just think about this. They're going to bus kids from URI, where the sororities and fraternities are, to the beach to recruit them to the fraternities and sororities that are at URI. Does this make any kind of sense to you? It doesn't make any sense to me. Plus, URI is in South Kingston. South Kingston has a town beach. There's nothing wrong with that beach. There's absolutely no reason why they can't go there and have this event there. The numbers are concerning. This is this Pan-Hellenic group. Remember him, Dr. Saivo? Maybe they're going to use this event to recruit people to sign to register to vote. I mean, come on. We know what he's done in the past, Dr. Saivo. I don't know who's the director now, but he has used his position to recruit kids to register to vote in this town. And I just don't like the whole idea of it, frankly. Again, this is something that belongs on the campus. This is where the fraternities and sororities are, I hope. They're not in town, although I hear they are. And I just don't see any point of it. And Labor Day weekend, a lot of people look forward to going to the beach after the crowds, believe it or not. And I think people should be, the residents, the taxpayers should be able to enjoy their beach unencumbered. There's so many other things planned. It's like Disney World down here. I just think it's ridiculous in plain English. Thanks.
Dr. Alba.
Dr. Al Alba, 24 Eagles Nest Terrace. I like the part that the students want to go out and enjoy our beautiful beach. But on the other hand, we have to, consider cost factor, liability issues and whatnot. And, they're college students, some of them are young, and 99% of them could be wonderful students, but you could have that one situation where it might end up in a fight or something like this. We've had this before where someone, I don't know if it was a college student, but it was a young man, and we had issues with fights and whatnot. And I just think that, that right now, they brought a young lady to represent. I don't know why the dean did not show up. So that's a little scary from my standpoint. We'll have to open up the bathrooms and whatnot. And so, I don't know, I would be apprehensive in approving this. As much as I want the students to have a wonderful time, I just feel that the university did not even bring someone. They had a college student representing the entire university. And, that's a little scary to me, but thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the public that wishes to speak on this agenda item? Mr. Hames?
I have a little bit of difficulty.
Just please state your name and address.
Wynn Hames, 30 Wood Avenue, Narragansett, Rhode Island. I have a little bit of difficulty hearing all the way in the back. But the beach closes September 2nd, correct? And I want to commend these people, the students, for coming forward and asking to do something when our beach is actually closed. And they've done it for 4 or 5 years. And I don't think there's been any problems over the 4 or 5 years. I don't see why they even, they didn't even need to come to see you to do this. And I think you should commend them for it. I think you should try to work with them so this can be a successful thing and a safe thing. But I would really like to see it go forward. So, and I thank them for, once again, coming forward and asking your permission.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to comment? Okay, if not, I'll go back to the council for any final questions or comments, and then we will take the votes.
So I have a thought. And my thought is that since we don't have, one of the concerns that Steve has, which I think is valid, is that, we haven't heard from somebody, and no offense, Trinity, we haven't heard from somebody from the university, representing the university itself. And also, we don't have all the information that might make us more comfortable agreeing to do this in terms of, what we're going to have for lifeguards, what we're going to have for security support. And sometimes we'll do a special meeting to, to resolve an issue that we couldn't do in a regular meeting. And if we could get that information, today is Monday, so we'd have to be like this Thursday. Maybe just do a quick special meeting and get the answers. You're out of town for the whole time? Oh, okay. Well, that was a thought.
I just want to add to that, I did email Michelle first thing this morning and asked if we could have the deans come, because I said I had a lot of questions that would need to be answered by the university. So I was a little bit shocked, really, honestly, that they didn't send another representative, an assistant dean, somebody else. We have wonderful Trinity, who's done a great job with her presentation and the information sent to us. However, in my opinion, the university let out without their support, which is unfortunate.
Any other council comments? I mean, I'll go to...
No comment.
No comment. Okay. I mean, I think that because this has been going on for so many years, and I get the lure and the draw of the Narragansett Town Beach, because Trinity is my favorite place in the world. And like when I went to URI, I loved it as well, and it is a special place. I don't think we've had issues with it in the past. I know it kind of surprised us, but there were questions that were answered where there's not going to be 800 to 1,000 people at one time. I think it was, responsible so that we can mitigate any potential issues that may have occurred if we didn't have it come through the council. Where now we're addressing whether it's, we'll have lifeguards, we'll have, other, the police, and we'll have other things that we can address or kind of try to mitigate. So I personally would support this. And then again, if it is not successful or there's issues with it going forward in the future years, we'll know. And this has become, I guess, a popular event and grown from what we understand. And then, we'll know. So to me, it's I would support it. Okay, we'll take the vote. So all in favor? Aye. All opposed?
No.
No.
Okay, so unfortunately, the 2-2 motion fails. So that was motioned by Councilor Lawler, second by Councilor Kopech. It needs a majority, 3-2, so we only have 4 council members. So a 2-2 vote means that the motion fails. So that's unfortunate. Maybe so. All right. Great job, Trinity.
Sorry, Trinity.
All right, moving along. For the Public Works Department, we have a motion to approve the proposal from Boyle and Fogarty Construction Company Incorporated in the amount of $10,800 for sewer line repairs at the towers and any other incidental costs that may occur from this project.
So moved.
Second,
Any discussion from the council?
just that I think the costs are being absorbed by the tower's own funding, so just want to make that point.
Thank you. Thanks. Anyone from the public? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion by Councilor Lawler, second by Councilor Kopech. Motion passes 4-0. Next, from the Engineering Department, we have a motion to approve, ratify, and confirm fabrication and installation of a bulkhead plate to repair a leaking slide gate at the Scarborough Wastewater Treatment Facility, aeration tank completed by J.F. Brennan Company Incorporated in the amount of $11,765.
So moved.
Second,
Any discussion from the council? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion by Councilor Lawler, seconded by Councilor Kopech. Motion passes 4-0. Next, from the Information Technology Department, we have a motion to approve the purchase of Dell computers, workstations, and monitors from Zones LLC in the amount of $27,657.
So moved.
second,
Any discussion from the council? Anyone from the public? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion by Councilor Lawler, second by Councilor Kopech. Motion passes 4-0. Next up, from the Finance Department, we have a motion to introduce, read, pass, and accept as a first reading the amendment of Chapter 70 of the Code of Ordinances of the Town of Narragansett, Rhode Island, entitled Purchasing.
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Terry, do you want to comment on this one, please?
This is almost like a housekeeping issue. Back in 2012, the ordinance in the charter was changed to go up to 20,000 for,
Is it in here?
to the award of any purchase or contract of 20,000 or more shall be subject to the approval of the council. When that was adopted, what was not done was the other ordinance addressing the policies and procedures of the finance office dealing with that. And they had a lot of the older numbers in there. Finance reached out to different communities that have similar, our threshold is 2,500. Everything had to go before the council at 2,500. It's cumbersome paperwork-wise for the staff, and 2,500 doesn't pay for anything anymore. So the attached amended ordinance was worked on with the finance and the solicitor, and this is what we came up with, which is in concert with the ordinance that was changed back in 2012, but never followed. And we uncovered this during the audit process about a year ago, and Christine's been working on it since then. Now it's before you to merge them. Continue to operate.
Yeah, thank you. Any discussion from the council?
I'm just
Sure.
wondering why. There is really no background information stating, of the change, so I didn't realize it was passed at a 2012 election, so that's, like 12 years ago.
That's the competitive bidding one, the section 643. I believe it was attached to the rear of it.
It is.
Okay.
But all of this all of this is due to the vote that was taken in the 2012 election? Or is there anything added in there besides that, something the finance director wanted or had put in there, or you needed in there?
No, with the increase of well, like I said, it was done actually in 2012, but never enacted upon. So what Christine did with that was she worked with the procedures section, a different ordinance, and put the increased amount of 20,000 in, and incrementally increased other numbers that were in there that were below it from different other municipalities with similar purchasing procedures.
Right, so from, let's say this is enacted from here on in, what would be the lowest amount that the council would approve, lowest to highest, or whatever the threshold?
It's different with each.
25,000?
Well, there's the sole source purchases is one, emergency purchases is another. The three different ones that are enumerated in there.
Maintenance contract. All right. Yeah, I just wanted to know a generic amount, so it looks like in number one, instead of more than $500, it's up to $5,000, shall require approval from the town manager only. And any purchase between 5 and 10, $999, shall require approval of the town manager also. Before that was at 500. So the council would have to approve everything over 500 before, for the most part. Now it looks like over 10,000 and to 19, town manager, and should obtain 3 written awards, so.
The procedures themselves, if you see there, have not changed. The dollar amount is what has been changed in them. It still requires the telephone quotations.
dollar amount.
Still requires 3 written quotations on different awards. It's just the dollar amounts that have changed.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, still a lot of cleanup from those referendums that were passed in 2012. So any other questions from the council? Anyone from the public? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion by Councilor Lawler, second by Councilor Kopech. Motion passes 4-0. Next, we have a motion to approve the request to fill the vacancy of tax collector clerk and any potential vacancies created through internal candidates.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion from the council? Anyone from the public? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion by Councilor Lawler, seconded by Councilor Kopech. Motion passes 4-0. Next up, from the town manager, we have a motion to approve the Narragansett Housing Authority funding request of $150,000 from Urban Development Grant to meet the funding required for rehabilitation of 9 public housing units in the town.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, Mr. Tinery, can you please elaborate on this one? Thanks.
Sure. This one is, with all the chatter about affordable housing throughout the state and all across the country, this is a significant award in the sense that the funding comes from the Urban Development Fund grants, and the account has a balance of $220,000 in it now. The Narragansett Housing Authority was recently awarded almost $1.1 million. It was $1,066,000 through a Rhode Island Housing competitive process. The 9 properties that they will be rehabbing are perpetually low-income affordable housing units within the town. They're never going to go away. And with the $1 million they're given for the grant award, as they start to price things out, as we see frequently here, they end up costing more. And the executive director of the Housing Authority came to my office and asked if that fund could be used to make the match, so to say. And it's up to $150,000 as the bid process plays out on the increases of the cost of the upgrading. So Mike put it together, gave the letter of request to us. We had the grant fund and rules reviewed by the solicitor, our community development director, and this is an appropriate use of these funds. These were used originally to to get some of these affordable housing units. And it came to us, like I said, after the authority got the $1.1 million. And Mike McLaughlin, the executive director of housing, is here, and he was the man behind this. And I'd like him to step up and say a few words about the $1.1 million that you received.
Good evening. I'm requesting these funds because we have gone to bid. It has come in a little higher than we had expected. Rhode Island Housing is asking us how we'll fill that gap. These funds, to my knowledge, were originally used to purchase these properties back in 1980. So the funds, they were used to purchase them. I'm not sure if we're going to need all that funding, but there is a gap in there. We did have contingency in the budget, which will quite possibly cover the cost of it. But again, Rhode Island Housing is asking us to fill the gap, at least have the funds available to fill the gap. And I felt that it was an appropriate request to use these funds. What we're doing on these properties, we'll be siding all the properties. We're putting new windows in 3 of the 5 locations. There's 9 units total, but there's 5 buildings. And we're doing kitchens and bathrooms. Again, we do receive funding from HUD annually. Unfortunately, they give us about $30,000 a year to do maintenance on these properties. So if you have any questions, please.
Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Mike also. I'm the council appointee to the Housing Committee, and Mike's been really working on this for a long time. It's been on his radar. And it was a little touch and go what we were going to get from the Rhode Island Housing, I know, and that came in not too far back. And I think it's an excellent use for the rest of this money to keep the 9 properties the way they are in perpetuity. So thanks, I really appreciate your hard work there. Thank you.
I just wanted to add that this is going to be immediate impact and let the people be proud of where they live. Nick Edwards is not here tonight, but if he was, I would think he would say, if not now, when? Because this is immediate action. So great job that you guys do, Mike. We really appreciate it. And I'm sure the individuals that live here will have a better feeling of life and quality of life because of it.
I mean, we're very fortunate that, you go by these properties, they say they're public housing, but you would never realize that they're public housing units.
Keep it that way.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other comments? So thank you so much. Anyone from the public? Ms. Diliberto.
Catherine Celebrato, 48 Earls Court. Are we talking about the properties that Poe manages, or are we talking about the properties that the town manages? Mansion and Fifth Avenue. Is that what we're talking about, those properties there? Is that what we're talking about here?
These are town of Housing Authority, town of Narragansett Housing Authority owns these properties and operates them.
Fifth Avenue and Mansion and those different.
Correct,
scattered
those,
around
those,
town.
yeah.
Thank you. Dr. Alba?
I'd like to say one more thing.
Sure.
I would like to thank Mike and the people who work in the Housing Authority. Between the grant that they received and this $150,000, since I've been, I think this is the most significant achievement that the town has for affordable housing. And we do have some other small projects going on, but this is pretty significant. And I'd like to thank them for all their work on it.
Thank you. Dr. Alba?
Dr. Al Alba, 24 Eagles Nest Terrace. Yeah, thanks a lot, Mike. Hopefully, we'll have $3 million more after the bond gets approved. So that'll be all good. And just one quick note, every time I go by Middle Bridge, I see that building opposite Narrow River Kayak, so I hope we can maybe look into that.
Dr. Alba, the motion is to approve the Narragansett
Right, I
Housing
understand,
Authority.
but I'm
So,
just
no,
letting it all be
yes.
known that thing's
Thank
falling
you.
apart. It's
Please stick
falling
to the
apart,
motion.
So we should definitely have some communication, and we should also look into maybe.
Please speak to the motion. Approve Narragansett Housing Authority.
Making that as affordable housing down the road. We can consider that. Thank you.
Any other questions? Any other comments from the public? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all opposed? Motion by Counselor Lawler, second by Counselor Kopek. Motion passes 4-0. Next up from the town clerk, we have a motion to appoint an individual to the Inclusion, Diversity, Equality, and Awareness Idea Committee.
So moved.
Second?
Any candidates?
Make a motion to appoint Carolyn Plant.
I have a second. Any discussion? Do we have one candidate? Okay, there is a motion to appoint Karen Plant to the IDEA Committee. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion by Counselor Lawler, second by Counselor Kopek. Motion passes 4-0. Next, we have a motion to appoint one individual to the Narragansett South Kingstown Senior Advisory Committee to fill a vacancy for a term set to expire on January 18th, 2026.
So moved.
Second?
Any candidates to appoint? Somebody like that?
I'd like to appoint Jean Ehrman.
I'll second that.
Jean Erie. Okay, motion to appoint Jean Erie to the Narragansett South Kingstown Senior Advisory Committee. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion by Counselor Lawler, second by Counselor Kopek. Motion passes 4-0. Next, we have a motion to approve a private detective license application for Vincent Carlone of Lighthouse Global Solutions, LLC, doing business as Lighthouse Global Solutions, 346 Kingstown Road, Narragansett, Rhode Island, subject to state and local regulations.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion for the council? Anyone from the public? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion by Counselor Lawler, second by Counselor Kopek. Motion passes 4-0. Next, we have a motion to approve a private detective license application for John A. Adams, Jr. of Lighthouse Global Solutions, LLC, doing business as Lighthouse Global Solutions, 346 Kingstown Road, Narragansett, Rhode Island, subject to state and local regulations.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion with the council? Anyone from the public? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion by Counselor Lawler, second by Counselor Kopek. Motion passes 4-0. Next up, we have a motion to approve a Class F alcoholic beverage license for Chelsea Cook to hold a fundraising event on August 24th, 2024 at the Narragansett Casino 11 Pier Marketplace, Narragansett, Rhode Island, subject to state and local regulations.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion from the council? Anyone from the public? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion by Counselor Lawler, second by Counselor Kopek. Motion passes 4-0. Next up from the town council, we have a motion to schedule a work session on Monday, September 16th, 2024 at 5:30 to continue discussions from the August 5th, 2024 work session to explore ideas, alternatives, and financing options for the dredging of Narrow River.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, so this was put on, again, any council member can put any agenda items they so wish. I know there was another one on here about dredging, which was pulled, but this one's to schedule it, because I know after the work session, there were a lot of questions that came up, and there, a lot of the, key players, or there were a lot of individuals who are going to be part of this, and we just needed to have more of a forum where we can answer those questions. So we had the work session on August 5th, and then that was with both engineering, and the report had 3 recommendations for dredging of Narrow River. Those were the ones that were presented. On the presentation report, if you want to look it up, it's included on the agenda, the town council agenda for this meeting. So there's the report, there's the PowerPoint presentation, and there's also the cost estimates on there. So when we had the work session, it was deemed productive. We had a limited time of 90 minutes. So again, it didn't allow for all questions and concerns to be addressed during the work session. And there are several questions that were brought up by the town council members and the members of the public. And the town manager stated that questions that arose from the work session regarding the dredging project and report could be discussed at a future work session. And then it was very evident from that meeting and just from the community that there's significant community interested in this topic. And this work session will provide an opportunity to continue the discussions and provide additional time for members of the community to comment. So again, regarding the cost estimates, they were very substantial, and they are included in the agenda packet. And they do present significant financial hurdles for each of the options that were presented. So the discussion at this upcoming work session will include potential financing options. And again, there were multiple stakeholders that may be involved in this project, and these include, but are not limited to, the town of Narragansett, the town of South Kingstown, DEM, CRMC, the Dunes Club, Narrow River Preservation Association, and the Metatuxet Improvement Association, and of course, all taxpayers. So due to the significant cost implications and sensitive environmental impact, it's prudent that the town takes a nuanced, thoughtful, and methodically well-planned approach to address this important issue. So the next work session date availability was September 16th, because we had another work session at the next meeting. However, because it is going to be well-attended, I believe, I did put 5:30 for this one, but I would like to amend it to be 5 p.m. so that we could have more time. So this motion is to schedule a work session on Monday, September 16th at 5 p.m. to continue discussions from the August 5th, 2024 work session to explore ideas, alternatives, and financing options for the dredging of Narrow River. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? So motion by Councilor Lawler, second by Councilor Kopak. Motion passes 5-0. Lastly, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion by Councilor Lawler, second by Councilor Kopak. Motion passes 4-0. We're adjourned. Good night, everyone.